So, have you ever wondered what truly sets apart, those individuals who achieve remarkable success, build wealth, seem really confident, or master new skills, like, say, a new language? Is it just like pure luck or some kind of innate talent they were born with?
Yeah, it's so easy to fall into that thinking, isn't it? To tell ourselves things like, "Oh, I'm just not that kind of person," or "I wasn't born with those advantages," or, "English is just too hard for me. It's too late for me to change anything big now." We hear these self-limiting beliefs all the time.
Right. But what if the real difference, the profound difference, isn't in their circumstances at all? What if it's something far more accessible, like how they actually think?
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today. What's often called the millionaire mindset. We're going to uncover some surprising mental frameworks that successful people use. And it's not just about money. It's about conquering challenges, building resilience, and, continually growing.
And here's the really exciting part for you listening. These powerful mindset shifts, they aren't just for millionaires or entrepreneurs.
No, not at all. They're universal principles.
And we're going to show you exactly how these insights, the ones we've pulled from our sources, can radically transform your English learning journey, boost your confidence, maybe even reshape your future.
Yeah, our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear: to equip you with these actionable mental tools.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. Thinking back, like when you were growing up, did you have this image of rich people? Like they were fundamentally different somehow, almost, I don't know, from another planet. I certainly did. I kind of thought they must have some secret gene or like a hidden blueprint the rest of us just didn't get.
That's a very common perception. It really is. We tend to look outwards, attributing success to, external factors. But what's really fascinating when you actually study successful individuals is that the real difference often starts inside, in their thought patterns.
Absolutely. I remember having a huge aha moment of reading a book, and this wealthy guy contrasted two simple phrases. He's something like, people who struggle often say, "I can't afford it." Right. But successful people ask, "How can I afford it?" And wow, it really clicked to me. It wasn't about the money they had right then, but the question they were asking is about how they approach challenges. Drifting from like a dead-end statement to a quest for solutions.
Precisely. Subtle shift in questioning, it just opens up a completely different path, different actions, different possibilities. And that actually leads us perfectly into our first major mindset shift.
Yeah.
We've kind of
Now, contrast that with what we're calling a millionaire thinker's perspective.
Yeah.
I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
Yet.
that tiny little word, yet, it carries so much power, doesn't it?
It truly does. It's immense. And this isn't just, wishful thinking or empty positivity. It's what Dr. Carol Dweck identified as a growth mindset.
Right, the growth mindset.
Yeah, that fundamental belief that your abilities aren't fixed. They aren't set in stone. They can be developed through effort, through dedication, through learning. For language learners, adopting this means every struggle, every difficulty becomes an opportunity. Personally, when I really embraced this idea, that paralyzing fear of making mistakes, it started to fade because I understood each error wasn't, a final judgment. It was just a stepping stone, not a dead end. It actually encouraged me to practice more freely, to just try things out. Okay, here's where it gets really, really interesting, I think. We all mess up, right? It's inevitable. I had this friend who, years ago, made a pretty bad investment, lost a chunk of money, like $10,000. And instead of letting it completely derail him, he just reframed it instantly. He looked at me, kind of shrugged, and just said, "Well, I guess I just paid for a $10,000 education."
Wow, that's a perfect example, a classic example of what psychologists call cognitive reframing. Truly successful individuals, they rarely view mistakes as failures in that final negative sense. They see them more like tuition, the price you pay to gain invaluable knowledge, real-world experience. They don't dwell on the setback itself. They immediately pivot to extracting the lesson. What can I learn from this?
And this translates so perfectly to learning English, doesn't it? When you mispronounce a word or you mix up your grammar or just say something that doesn't quite land right, it's not a moment for shame or embarrassment, or it shouldn't be. It's actually incredibly valuable data. That's the word.
Exactly. Data.
It highlights precisely what areas need your attention. It gives you clear insights into what you need to work on next. Think of it like your language learning GPS, It's just recalculating your route, not telling you you've crashed the car.
It's just information to guide your next step. Okay, let's consider a really concrete example here. One of the wealthiest people I know, they make a point of this. They refuse to spend an hour doing something themselves if they could pay someone, say, $10 to do it instead.
Right. And the key is why they do that.
Exactly. Their reasoning isn't really about saving that $10. It's about what that hour, that specific hour, is truly worth to them.
They get that their time is their most precious asset, right?
Yeah.
It's non-renewable. You can't get it back. So they prioritize activities like learning, creating, strategizing, things that build future value. And that value is often far greater than the small financial cost of delegating a minor task. It's a really profound shift away from a scarcity mindset around money towards an abundance mindset around time.
And this raises a critical question for you for your own English learning journey. Ask yourself this. Am I potentially spending, say, 2 years trying to figure everything out for free bit by bit, pulling resources from everywhere, when maybe, just maybe, I could achieve significant results in like 3 months with the right targeted support or resources?
Yeah, and just be clear, this isn't about just, throwing money at a problem blindly.
No, absolutely not.
It's about making a smart, strategic investment of your time to accelerate your growth. That's the real millionaire move here, applied to your personal development. And, for those listening thinking, but I genuinely can't afford paid help right now. That's valid. But this mindset isn't only about money. It's about identifying your highest leverage activities, whatever your budget. Can you invest an hour in really focused, active speaking practice instead of just passively scrolling online? Can you seek out free conversation partners online instead of only studying grammar rules alone? It's really about where you allocate your most precious resource, your focused time and energy.
Well said. It's about being strategic with what you do have.
Okay, fourth shift. We've probably all heard that saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
It's a classic.
Sounds simple, maybe even a bit cliche, but the implications are actually massive.
Oh, it's a powerful truth. Really think about it for a second. If your inner circle, the people you talk to most, constantly reinforce beliefs like, oh, English is just too hard, or I'll never really get fluent, or why bother? What kind of impact do you think that has day in and day out on your own self-belief, your own motivation and progress? It's incredibly difficult to defy the gravity of your immediate environment.
Exactly. And this is something successful thinkers are incredibly intentional about. They actively seek out and cultivate environments, people, communities, information sources that uplift them, that challenge them, that inspire them to grow.
Yeah.
So for you as an English learner, this could mean things like joining a really dynamic conversation group, maybe finding an accountability partner who's also motivated, or enrolling in a class that pushes you, or even just immersing yourself in positive, growth-oriented content, like this deep dive right now. You're actively seeking new perspectives, challenging your own assumptions just by listening.
Absolutely. To truly level up your skills, to accelerate your progress in English or anything else, actively choosing, changing, curating your environment, the people you interact with, the information you consume, the spaces you inhabit. It isn't just, nice to have. It's often absolutely crucial. It's about building a supportive ecosystem for your own growth. Hashtag powerful words from the deep dive.
Hey everyone, Crystal here. We've covered some incredibly powerful concepts today, haven't we? And along with them, some really useful words. Let's just quickly highlight a few to add to your active vocabulary toolbox. First up, we talked a lot about a growth mindset. Remember, this is that core belief that your skills and intelligence aren't fixed. They can actually grow with effort and learning. So instead of thinking, I'm terrible at giving presentations, you might reframe it using this concept. I'm developing a growth mindset about my presentation skills. See the difference? Then there's limitation. We discussed how successful thinkers don't just accept limitations, they challenge them. A good way to use this might be, my initial thought was that my busy schedule was a huge limitation for studying English, but now I see it as a challenge to find creative solutions. Oh, we also heard that interesting use of the word tuition. Now, normally it means money you pay for school, right? But in that story, it meant the valuable lesson learned from a costly mistake, almost like the mistake itself was the price paid for the knowledge. For example, you could say, that awkward moment trying to explain my job in English was valuable tuition in learning specific vocabulary. Data was another key word, especially when talking about mistakes. The idea is not to see an error as a failure, but as gathering information, gathering data. So you could think, every time I get corrected on my pronunciation, it's just more data helping me refine my accent. It takes the sting out of it. And finally, your environment. This isn't just the physical place, it's the people, the influences, the whole atmosphere around you. You might say, to really boost my fluency, I realized I needed to change my environment to include more opportunities for real English conversation. These words, growth mindset, limitation, tuition, data, environment, they're more than just definitions. They represent powerful ideas that can reshape how you approach learning and challenges. For adding them to your vocabulary toolbox, use them when you reflect, when you speak. Really own these concepts. You've definitely got this.
Case. As you reflect on everything we've talked about in this deep dive, here's the direct challenge for you for the week ahead. Just identify one Billionaire style mindset shift. Just one that you will intentionally begin practicing starting today.
And it doesn't have to be huge or have it that simple but really profound shift from thinking I can't do this to actively asking yourself, okay, how can I do this? Or maybe it's committing the very next time you make a mistake in English.
To consciously view it not as something embarrassing, but as valuable, actionable data. Information that clearly shows you where to focus your effort next.
We genuinely want
We'll shift we go.
Plus, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell. Why? So you don't miss our next deep dive. We'll be tackling another really critical aspect of language learning, overcoming the fear of speaking English. That's a big one.
Absolutely. And remember this one crucial thought as you continue your journey. Your path doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to start.